Hey Tommy, what's the best and most fuel-efficient new sedan you can buy for under $30,000? I mean, numbers as good, well, almost as good as a Prius.
Well, you're probably thinking the new 2025 Toyota Camry, and you'd be correct, but not this one, because this one, as configured, over $43,000. And in today's video, we're going to find out, is it worth it?
Yeah, but it is the brand new 2025 Camry, so there have been significant updates. Let's start with style.
Well, it's a much more aggressive looking vehicle than the model it replaces. I love this headlight design that's got this little inverted point there that's body colored, and this XSE trim does have some go fast, cool looking features. Take a look at these wheels. What we're looking at here is a 19-inch wheel in this gray finish with a fairly low profile Terenza tire, 235/40 R19, a really sporty look. And look at that front end. We even have a lower front splitter here that kind of juts out from the side profile of the front end. We've got this big, almost honeycomb style grille. It's a really good looking car.
Hey, guess how much those wheels are going to cost you?
What do you mean?
They're $1,500 options.
Are they really?
They are, yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah.
big money, but certainly a cool look on the Camry. And then as we make our way along the side, it's actually a two-tone design with a black roof with a metallic flake in it compared against this gray. It looks great, especially with the black mirror caps. Blacked out B-pillar, and then you have that bit of a floating roof effect down here on the C-pillar with that harsh divide between the black and the gray. And then out back, we're gonna find little lip spoiler Camry spelled out across in black, which looks great.
And a ton of room. Look at, oh, it fits your off-road Onyx cap, Tommy.
Yeah, that's right, the Onyx Off-Road, who's not the official sponsor of this video, but clearly I left my hat in the trunk. 15.1 cubic feet worth of space, and of course you do have the folding rear seats there, which is quite nice.
And check it out, you have a Space Saver tire hidden under here.
You know, which usually, if you'd go back to reviews from 10, 15 years ago, we complained about not having a full size, but now where tires are a rarity at all, I'm glad at least they include that. And then out back here, we have all-wheel drive and hybrid badging along with dual tips out the driver's side of the car. So look, is it a GR Supra from a design standpoint? No, but it is the best looking Camry I would wager ever. It's a pretty cool design.
Now these three letters not only, and I'm talking about AWD, all-wheel drive, not only cost you more money, Tommy, but they cost you more fuel economy. So you can get a base Camry that's at 50 MPG. This one, 44 combined.
Yeah.
And that's because all-wheel drive uses, well, more energy and adds more weight.
Here's the thing though, so in the previous generation Camry, if you wanted all-wheel drive, you had to get the gas version with the little engine. There was no hybrid all-wheel drive. What Toyota's doing now with the Camry is they are spreading that all-wheel drive love across the lineup with their new all-wheel drive system that uses an electric motor on the rear axle and a hybrid system on the front axle. And now, you know, you don't need to only get the slowest version to get all-wheel drive. You can do so with this powertrain. So 232 horsepower.
Yeah, and get this, you can get your Camry in any configuration you like as long as it's hybrid.
Yes, that's true.
Because everything is hybrid now.
Good point. Which is a good thing in my mind. That Camry hybrid has always been a sweet spot in the lineup.
Hey, check this out. You could do like curls with this hood, Tommy. It's super heavy.
The hood is remarkably weighty, you're right. But there you go, transverse mounted 4-cylinder unit with an eCVT setup, no belt CVT for longevity, just so you know. It is an electronically controlled system, and it's a pretty refined setup we're gonna find when we get out of the road. And like you mentioned, Dad, in proper configuration up to 51 MPG, which is just incredible for a midsize sedan.
Once again, not a lot to say under there, right? Because modern cars are so technologically advanced. It's not like back in the day when you'd open it up and you'd see an engine, a carburetor, and you can figure out what stuff does. Now you see a bunch of orange cables that scare me.
All right, well, let's talk about the inside, because there are quite a number of great things to talk about in here, starting with this configuration. So, check this out. Here's the sticker. Toyota Camry XSE all-wheel drive, manufactured in Georgetown, Kentucky, by the way. Total suggested retail price, $43,720. And there's our fuel economy, 44 MPG combined, 44 city, 43 highway. Dad, how is the room in the back? Am I driving position 6 feet tall?
I have found a surprising problem. Take a look, Tommy.
What you got there?
Look at me.
Headroom.
Yeah, with this massive sunroof, even with the scalloped area back here. And I'm, of course, a little on the tall side, but I do not fit, obviously. Very uncomfortable
Yeah.
for my head.
No, that is a problem. I think you're right, but this is a very dynamic color combo, that heavy metal exterior color along with this red interior. And what I like about this is they've done a really nice job of kind of sculpting this dashboard design. So this red finish continues its way from the seats along the dashboard and then across to the door panels with this perforated finish, which looks super, super cool. Here, I'm going to turn the car around, Dad, so we're not filming into the sun. Talk about the rest of the interior. A lot of good things in here, a lot of good tech. 12.3-inch instrument cluster.
And a heads-up display.
And the heads-up display. There we go, that's a little bit better there. And show some more stuff going on here. So pretty ergonomically located, does take up the majority of the dash, but it is the latest and greatest in Toyota infotainment. If you're familiar with the Tacoma, the Tundra, and any Lexus product now, this is all gonna look very, very familiar. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto incorporated as well. Pretty colorful, pretty easy to use. User profiles you can integrate there as well, along with phone connectivity. So overall, not a bad system.
Yeah, I like this blood red leather interior. It kind of says, you know, I'm a dad at home, but when the road turns twisty, I've got a little bit of lead in my pencil.
Yeah, I'm not sure that's what I would go with there, Dad.
What would you go with? Come on, this is pretty out there, right? I mean, it looks so conservative when you're looking at the car from the outside, but when you sit in here, you could be inside a Ferrari, at least with the color combination.
I do appreciate a good red. I'm not sure I would go with lead in my pencil, though, to describe this from a canyon carving standpoint, which we'll mention.
I didn't say the car had lead in its pencil. I said the potential buyer.
Okay, gotcha.
Tommy, when you have a kid, just don't go with the dad jokes. They don't appreciate them, and they feel embarrassed by them. Is that right?
A little bit, Dad. You're right about that. So dual cup holders here with good size cubby in front of the cup holders, wireless charger, 2 USB-C ports, USB-A down there, and then here we've got Eco Normal Sport mode and then EV mode for short distances and all electric cruising. And then look at the gauge cluster too, Cole. Pretty sporty, actually changes color combos a little based on your mode. You got a little animation to let you know what mode you've gone into. But I want to point this out, that full tank of gas, we're predicting 466 miles of range. Pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, this does compete directly with the Accord Hybrid, which has similar fuel economy numbers and has also been recently updated, well, maybe a year and a half ago. But, you know, really, it's, you know, do you prefer the Toyota badge on your sedan or the Honda badge? They're very similar, and that's because, of course, the manufacturers do benchmark each other.
Yeah, but the thing is, the big competitive advantage the Camry has over the Accord, at least currently, is the hybrid system with the all-wheel drive. That's a big deal to me, you know, being able to have that all-weather capability with the setup. Now let's see what it drives like. We're going to go full throttle. Ready?
Yeah.
That lead in your pencil thing is falling apart a little, Dad.
Well, it's also an old reference.
Yeah. Look, it's an adequate performing vehicle. If you were expecting this as a replacement to the old V6 Camry, which was kind of a ripper, I'm not sure it's there from an acceleration standpoint.
Yeah, and same thing with the Accord, right? They also got rid of their V6. Everybody's going down 2 cylinders and up 1 turbo.
Yeah, the Accord drives a little better than the Camry from a fun to drive standpoint.
I think so too. I think it's a little bit more dynamic. This is a little bit more.
Suspension's a little firmer in the Accord. Steering has a little bit more feel in the Accord than the Camry. And I would say even that CVT response is a little better in the Accord than the Camry.
But it is remarkably quiet.
This is a great cruiser, right? So XSE looks sporty, it's got some big wheels. It's not really a performance trim as like an ST would be in an old Ford product, or you know, a GR product is in Toyota's lineup. But it's okay. We're stuck behind a poop sucker here, Dad.
Look, here's the thing. If you want an incredibly fuel-efficient car, you know, with a lot of room, and granted, my hair is, you know, scraping the roof, then I think the Camry is a great option. I would not go, if it were my money, for this XSE. I would go for the base model, which you can get realistically, you know, just above $30,000. And I think for that price point in today's market, where the average car is $48,000, this is a hell of a bargain.
The other thing about the any Camry is it's going to come with the Toyota group of safety systems: adaptive cruise control, blind spot monitoring, lane keeping assist. All of these functions built into every Camry, which is really, really nice.
But here's the problem, right? unlike every other manufacturer, the dealers for Toyota don't order their cars. They're basically assigned cars. And so Toyota allocates cars, and oftentimes, those allocations are this version of it because there's more profit in it. So,
it's true.
It's hard to find that base model.
Good point. No, I think you're spot on the money there. And if you do want features, this XSE that we're sitting in, I mean, ventilated seats, heated steering wheel, these are pretty high-end features to be found in a Camry. I'm gonna scoot past the skid steer here. It's a car that drives fine, but it's not a dynamic experience by any stretch of the imagination. And hopefully we're going to be able to get it on the slip test and see how the all-wheel drive system performs later this week.
They dialed up the fuel economy to 10, and they kind of dialed down the fun to drive. But the Camry has never, well, actually that's not true. There is a TRD version of the Camry, which is relatively fun to drive, and who knows, maybe there'll be one in this newest generation as well.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I hope that they do that. But not a bad little cruiser. It looks faster than it is, especially with these blingy 19s and the red interior.
Look, here's my only worry about the Camry. Once upon a time, Camrys were the go-to car for most buyers in America. But today the RAV4 is by far the best-selling car in America. They sell 450,000 units, and part of that is people are no longer buying sedans. So if you're your grandma, getting in and out of this, even though it's a sedan, is much more difficult than getting in and out of a RAV4. But having said that, there's something nice about having a sedan that's low to the ground and relatively sporty and incredibly fuel efficient. So for me, on the TFL scale, buy it, lease it, rent it, or forget it, I would say, hell yeah, buy it. But get yourself, the $30,000 one.
Yeah, for sure. I'm on the same page. Don't spend $43,000, get the more entry-level trim, get a similar experience, and save a lot of money. Well, let us know what you guys think in the comment section below.
And as always, check out what, Tommy?
alltfl.com for more reviews.
Ciao.